What's going on? It's Justeeni here. This is the moment everyone has been waiting for, the grand finals of the World Championships. We have on the west side Arthur, a longtime veteran player, one of the OGs, very, very strong player. He's absolutely earned his way up here, versus a relative newcomer, Slimming Boy, an unknown in the community. But this is going to be an incredible, incredible set. Again, just a reminder for those who need to catch up on things. The way that these tournaments work, single elimination. This is the grand finals, best of 3. Whoever wins gets $4,000. Whoever loses still gets some money, at least $2,500. So there is still quite a lot on the line. Lots of pressure. All eyes on these two players playing this one game. Let's get right into things. So first off, Arthur going with a pretty typical opening. Pretty normal turn 0 stuff from both tribes. Now both players finding the village, and Slimming Boy finding the ruin. Does he opt to go for the ruin? He doesn't, and this village is terrible. Maybe he should have gone for the ruin. But hindsight is 2020. Both sides actually getting a ruin. Imperius getting hunting, grabbing the explorer, but unfortunately it goes backwards. And because he committed his warrior already, it kind of feels like a bit of a misplay. He could have sent this warrior to the ruin a turn earlier. Bardur goes climbing though, expecting the mine, and sure enough it is there. Imperius goes with the level up. Bardur grabbing the lighthouse, grabbing the ruin. We see fishing from Imperius ready to get the city, and also get some vision off this explorer to hopefully uncover the southern or eastern or some sort of lighthouse. We see the southern lighthouse uncovered by Arthur. And we see an explorer here as well, and thanks to climbing, it's gonna be able to go and uncover this north lighthouse and grab a ton of vision, meeting Arthur, now able to afford mining, grabbing another explorer, getting the southern lighthouse, allowing for the capital upgrade. Very explosive, all thanks to that explorer ruin. Now that connection there, allowing for a potential quick giant. And we see a vet sword from the ruin, very helpful. Bardur going Smithery. This is the first time we've seen Smithery in this entire tournament. Yes, there was a Chinchi player in this tournament, but this is the first time we're seeing Smithery in the grand finals of all places. But it makes sense, the forge spots are pretty nice here, 2 level 2s. If you grab this one, it's going to be another level 2 there. We see Eye of God on turn 6 for Bardur. And Imperius going for archery. We see Pop Ruin. And the pressure from Slimming Boy begins. Grabbing the turn 7 giant and the sword. Climbing from Arthur. Having to navigate through these mountains is very tough, so he goes for the climbing. So he can take out the sword, grab another archer and warrior. He needs to make some difficult defense happen. You see Bardur is stuck on 4 cities. Whereas Imperius might be able to get 6 or even 7 cities. But if Bardur can just take 1, then Imperius' position could fall apart. We see another giant straight in the front lines. Another port connection here. Upgrades the city. Upgrades gets the giant here to push the archer. The pew pew at the warrior, allowing this archer to be able to use to help kill the sword instead. Giant advances, and now Slimming Boy also getting archery to support this monstrous push. Explorer from Arthur, grabbing a lighthouse thanks to these well-positioned mountains. This northern one, though, still unclaimed by Imperius, so no Eye of God yet, and it's certainly not easy. How do you even get that in the near future? And Slimming Boy pressuring even more. Archer's in the back, anticipating. He's going to need every unit he can get his hands on. Arthur with a very clutch defense. You can see this again. This giant was put in the port last turn to respond to the giant going on the mountain. Now getting a ton of chip damage. Kind of ending the attack here for now. And also Imperius going for forestry. More archers, more swords. Slimming Boy also trying to continue to advance his economy on top of all this. You can see both players with similar economies at this point. This giant dead now, thanks to the archers. But there's another problem for Imperius. What do you do over here? This other exposed city. You don't have very many units. You can get a warrior, but the sword is sieging. Another sword sieges. Giant goes in. And another giant by Slimming Boy, tons of archers for support. Arthur grabbing the city up here. But you need the unsiege. There's only one way to do it, and it's not pretty. We have to port. And port again. Just for the unsiege. We see Gate of Power go here. Getting the giant to help defend. Giant gets hit. Can Slimming Boy siege this city? You've got one archer for 4 damage, bringing the giant to 23 HP. 2 swords. And a warrior. At face value, that looks to only be 24 damage, but because the giant actually gets weakened, it'll be just enough. Not only that, but it's going to be a vet sword siege, because the sword is at 2 out of 3 kills. If this happens, Arthur will not be able to unsiege. But Slimming Boy misses it. And the game goes on. This attack is still very, very brutal. The sword dies before it can promote. Slimming Boy maybe a little greedy there. Now we see riding. And an explorer grabbing the Northern Lighthouse, finally securing Eye of God. And it looks like things might finally be stabilizing on defense, but there's one more attack. You have to deal with this giant. Cannot be killed. You have to unsiege somehow, though, if the city is taken. Slimming Boy will be able to keep it. There's so many archers as support. And now also fishing to grab the port to get yet another giant. Arthur goes for mathematics to unsiege, but I will say there's another really snazzy play here. If you guys can see, I'll draw this one out for you. It requires roads. You place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roads, and the port. I believe all that is affordable. And you do get Eye of God. Actually, you don't need the port here. Let me show you guys. Yeah, roads is 18. So if you buy roads, you have 16 stars. So you place 3 roads here, and then 3 roads here. You can also, I think you have 2 forests you can chop. Yes, 2 forests you can chop. You can actually Houdini this giant. Hopefully you guys, oh yeah, there's a forest here too. But you actually can Houdini this giant. Unfortunately, it's a tough play to see. But yeah, hopefully you guys get the idea, because you have the double monument, that's why you have it. But no Houdini, instead using math to unsiege. But this might still be good enough anyway. A bit of a missed opportunity, but I don't really blame Arthur for missing it. It's not an easy play to find, especially under all this pressure. Slimming Boy still trying to do whatever he can. Still more giants on the way. But because Arthur does have mathematics, he is going to be able to start to set up some catapults. We see a catapult back here. Because the main threat is these giants. Another giant advancing in. Archers trying to pick away. And we see Chivalry going for the knight. Arthur stepping on the ruin. Archer. Warrior. Giant is weakened a lot thanks to the catapult. Now we see roads. Only now. See Grand Bazaar for the border growth. Allowing for another giant and a catapult here. The knight goes in chains. But unfortunately, Slimming Boy's turn ends here because he's out of time. Arthur has been playing very quickly, forcing Slimming Boy to spend more time on his turns to think about things. And the time pressure finally put Slimming Boy in a very bad spot. When he needed that time most, he didn't have it. And now the attack has died down for sure. With all these catapults on defense, this catapult's not even reachable by an opposing knight, and Arthur's starting to get a naval presence. Again though, Slimming Boy not giving up. More knights, more archers, more units. Trying to break through in any way he can, but Arthur trying to be annoying here, stopping Slimming Boy from making a knight. Got scouts here, starting to counterattack now. Another catapult down here, anticipating the siege. Slimming Boy, with all of his might, just trying to pressure like crazy. But sadly, for Slimming Boy, it's just not going to be enough. Now Free Spirit disbanding the giant, preparing for an eventual shiv. And Slimming Boy resigns game 1. Now, Arthur with 1 point. He just needs to win one more game, and that will be it. The end of the tournament. Let's go ahead and cut to the next game. Game 2. Let's just get right into things. Not gonna keep stalling. So again, pretty normal development. We see a lot of mountains in the way for Slimming Boy, which is gonna be very unfortunate. Arthur immediately able to access the water. Whereas Bardur, though, he had capital water access, so we'll see. Looks like there's a big lake in the middle, so naval-centric battle. Arthur with fishing already, getting vision of the Bardur capital. Nice explorer, but unfortunately barely misses the lighthouse due to the mountain in the way. Slimming Boy just trying to develop. Not concerned about going in the water just yet. Goes for the port here. We see climbing mining once again because all of these mountains have metal. What are the odds of that? We see sailing now from Imperius. Grabbing the lighthouse. Really, really strong development here. You see the warrior. Slimming Boy continuing to develop very strong economy. Explorer now trying to meet Arthur, and he does. Explorer goes, barely misses the lighthouse, grabs Smithery pre-cap. He could have gone it before grabbing the city, and then grab the Explorer later, which actually would have been better. So a little bit of a misplay by Slimming Boy. And Arthur quickly sieging the exposed capital. And it looks like there's no way to unsiege. But Slimming Boy upgrades the capital, places a forge, upgrades the city, upgrades this city to get the giant, to get the Park of Fortune, and just barely in time is able to get the unsiege. Technically, he actually misplayed this. He could have placed the forge here first before there, but I mean, what an unsiege. By the way, Arthur actually had a chance to siege here a turn earlier. Had he placed his initial port here, he would have been able to do that play last turn, and there's a good chance. But that could have been the tournament there. Arthur missing that opportunity because he wanted to play it safe with the port. But now, how do you deal with the giant just stepping in the water? followed by even more giants. See, Arthur grabbed the northern lighthouse, but it's not likely you can get Eye of God here. Now the forge comes down. Now we see fishing, putting the Juggernaut in the water. Arthur snagging these runes. He was in the water first, so that is going to be useful here. Vet Sword, not too useful. There is still another rune to step on, and this giant's going to be able to reach the water very quickly. This warrior getting taken out. Juggernaut landing to pressure the city. Arthur going for riding roads. He's going to get his giant that way. Now with the port, putting that giant instantly in the front lines, hoping to pull off some sort of defense here. But Slimming Boy just has so much pressure now with the Star Ruin. Getting yet another giant as giant number 4. Arthur only has one giant. We see a Pop Ruin though. Preparing the second giant. Training some riders on defense. Unfortunately, the city's just gonna have to be let go. Bardur getting strategy. Not interested in sailing or ramming aquatism. Instead, getting defenders. Now Arthur finally getting this lighthouse and trying to reach this rider over to grab this other lighthouse. We see diplomacy once again by Bardur. Bit unusual to see here. You have so many juggernauts. I feel like getting ramming aquatism is just much better. But now we see climbing from Arthur. Construction going for a border growth to place a windmill here. Very unusual idea, but he needs as many giants as he can get, so I guess it does make sense. Unfortunately, these giants currently in the water are just going to get kind of obliterated. And now the cloak going in the water, wait a second, that's just going to be able to reach the city. And now another giant getting prepared. That's right, 6 giants in the water. Arthur, finally with Eye of God, getting another border growth. Trying to establish some sort of setup here. Looks like he's setting up for markets, but the cloak invades, and now with sailing, Bardur just has a dominant position here, and Arthur resigns. These cloaks are gonna decimate alongside the juggernauts, and the set is now tied 1-1. Whoever wins the next game wins the whole tournament. I'll go ahead and cut to the next match. Alright guys, this is it. This is the final showdown. Will Arthur, longtime competitive player, win? Or will the new, unknown, unexpected player take home the trophy for the first ever Polytopia World Championships? Let's get right into things. Standard openings to start. Imperius finding his village, but Bardur completely missing his. Goes on the animal, but the village just isn't there. Still no village though. This is really rough. Imperius going for riding. And with the Explorer you can see meeting Bardur. And you can see, thanks to the fact that Arthur has riding here, seeing Bardur in a very precarious spot. This is not gonna be pretty. Slimmy Boy gets the meeting stars, gets forestry to upgrade his capital. Tries to defend the city. Arthur takes out the warrior. Advancing in, getting roads. Playing as aggressively as possible, noticing the weakness that Slimmy Boy has here. Slimmy Boy trying to play defense. Population ruin. And with the road connection, Arthur also has a very strong economy here. Slimmy Boy pretty desperate. Another explorer from Arthur. Kind of getting some more information on the map, seeing the city. Not grabbing the lighthouse, unfortunately. Slimmy Boy seeing 2 ruins. Grabbing 1 and 2 ruins, but exposing himself for this brutal capital siege. You can see here, the only way to unsiege is to give up this ruin. And you could do that. Or you could choose to go out in style. If you can get a giant push from these ruins, you could see yourself getting back into this game, but you have to take a huge risk here. Slimmy Boy opens first ruin, gets a vet sword. Second one gets pop growth, but that's not going to do it. He's unfortunately too low in stars to get giant. He can get an explorer here, grab 1 lighthouse. That's 5 stars, but you need another 4 to get the fruit. If you got organization or stars or another pop ruin, or even math from that second ruin, that actually would have been a giant push. But instead, Arthur takes the win. Just like that. Very brutal, very quick game. Just a slightly slow exploration combined with Imperius' host advantage and very aggressive play. Arthur wins the entire world championship just like that. What an incredible set. What an incredible world championship. Oh my goodness. This was a blast stream. I also really enjoyed recording these recaps. If you guys enjoyed as well, hit that like button or whatever. But yeah, intro time, or outro time, sorry. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.